5-Minute Salute. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and here joining me in the studio is Will Lahnen with FocusCFO. Will, how are you?
Hey, good to see you.
It's always
again,
good to
Chris.
see you.
Yeah, always a pleasure keeping
You're
in
a
touch
busy
with you.
man.
I am, yeah. Always got something going on.
Yeah, you do. So we're not going to get to all of it, but we'll get into a little bit based on time available. So a little bit of background. So where are you originally from and what you do in the military?
I'm born and raised here in Jacksonville. Both of my grandfathers were World War II Navy veterans. One did a career after that. The other saw enough action in the Pacific that he got out right after World War II. But like so many of our veterans, they stayed here when they got out. And in fact, both of their mothers moved down from either Buffalo or Pennsylvania to live with them here in Jacksonville. So I'm fourth generation. My daughters are now fifth generation to call Jacksonville home.
Yeah.
And went to Stanton for high school, and went to the Naval Academy, and I was a submarine officer. So I tell people I spent a very large chunk of my 20s underwater. And so that's what I did before getting out in 2010 and starting my civilian career.
That's great. And you've done a number of things with a number of large companies here, both in the profit and nonprofit space. So you recently did a career pivot with FocusCFO. So what was the impetus for the pivot itself, and what do you do at FocusCFO?
Yeah, sure. So when I got out of the Navy, I was very fortunate, and I tell a lot of young people that there's no better way to get an undergrad degree and a few advanced degrees and not pay for it by joining the military. So very grateful for my service and the opportunities it opened up. So I was at CSX for over a decade once I got out of the Navy in a number of senior finance and operations leadership positions. Always very much have been involved in a lot of veteran nonprofits, and I went to work for one for a couple of years. But we'll probably get into it. In 2023, I did something I never thought I'd do, and that's I ran for a elected office. And I've been on Jacksonville City Council now for almost 3 years. And so last year, along with a buddy of mine I've known from another born and raised Jacksonville native, we opened the Northeast Florida office of FocusCFO, which is the country's largest fractional CFO services company. And what that means is if you're a small or medium-sized business, you want experienced financial advice, you want to know how to run an efficient company, you want to make sure that all of your back office financial processes are running as efficient as they can be, but you probably can't either afford or find someone that you need for 5 days a week. So fractional means that we have clients, and even though we're available 24/7 as needs come up, we try to dedicate a certain amount of time that we're there with them in the office with either the owner or the leadership team if they're of that size. And so it's essentially we're a third-party financial services provider, basically being the CFO for these small and medium-sized businesses, really targeting companies that are 2 million plus, and then
2 million,
in annual revenue. And by the time they get to 20 or 30 million, it's probably to start thinking about, okay, I'm probably at the size I need a full-time CFO, and we can help with that transition as well we help these companies grow. And it's something very near and dear to my heart. My grandfathers I just talked about. Both of them started small businesses in Jacksonville, as did my dad. He started a small business and was able to actually merge it with a much larger company before he retired as well here in Jacksonville.
That's great. So FocusCFO is national. It's not just here in Jacksonville.
It's national. There's about 250 total overall, what we call fractional CFOs, as well as area presidents that focus a lot on the business development side, finding companies that could potentially use our services and lining us up that way with them.
So how's this journey been? Because this transition's been fairly new.
It's we're happy with where we're at, but again, looking to not only build our own book of business, but also looking if there's additional people like me or that are at a point in the life that again, City Council is pretty much my Monday, Tuesdays, and then I've been focusing the latter half of the weeks on this new pursuit that we started late last year.
No, I appreciate that. Of course, we've talked off camera before. Is that, having 2 startups myself. Right now, myself and somebody else is kind of running the books. But you're right. At some point, when we get cash positive to a certain level, we're going to need to hire somebody. And again, it's that bridging, right? We don't need somebody full time, but we're going to definitely need somebody to go beyond the bookkeeper, beyond what I'm doing right now with the P&L and the balance sheets and things like that. And then the legality piece on the backside and all the certifications that somebody like you brings is huge.
And it's been, I mean, my first budget I was directly accountable for in my first financial leadership position back in 2012 was $2 billion. So I kind of keep on moving backwards in size of budgets I'm managing. And then obviously a lot smaller at a nonprofit. And now, again, the 2 to 20 million kind of targeted range. But the principles are all the same, right? And again, a CFO at a large company, you're still in charge of payroll, accounting, AP, AR, all that stuff. So it's still kind of the same type of functions, just helping these smaller companies out. Again, to ultimately help them grow into the type of company to help achieve the owner's vision where they want to get.
I would encourage people to reach out to you and your company, because you know, you can wait too long, right? Now you put yourself at a lot of risk and liability because you thought, like, oh, I'm just going to wait till January.
Right.
And now it's like, nah, you should have called us back in June.
And it's really interesting, like the whole fractional market is growing. Like through this endeavor, we've met some fractional chief marketing officers, chief information officers, and I think there's just this growing market that there's someone that they can come do a service for you as essentially a 1099 employee too, where you're not paying for this person's benefits and other overhead. So it's a good value for what you're paying for, as well as it gives us the opportunity to have a more flexible lifestyle and to match up with companies that can best utilize our skill sets as well.
So for the audience, what geographically are you covering right now?
So me and everyone else in our Northeast Florida office right now, which is 3, we can go really whatever's drivable. We've Derek, my partner, has already
Savannah,
talked to
Atlanta,
a couple Tallahassee
Orlando
companies, Daytona, Savannah. Pretty much if it's a couple-hour drive from Jacksonville. Obviously, Jacksonville proper is our primary focus, but we have talked to a few companies in neighboring counties.
That's great. So pivoting, city council, not for the faint of heart.
Yes, and much bigger budget as well.
Okay,
so,
excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited. Councilman Howland is our incoming council president. He announced last week I'll be the finance chair. So excited about, excited about putting our city's budget together. It's kind of relating it to FocusCFO. One of the requirements is you had to have 20 plus years of experience and basically have been a CFO at a smaller company or at least a CFO direct report at a larger company. But the city's budget is $8 billion plus. And so I'm one of the nerds on city council. I actually enjoy budgeting because I've been doing it for 20 plus years. And so excited at the opportunity. I've been on the finance committee every year so far, but excited to lead it as we go into this next year.
That's good.
Obviously, a lot of stuff up in the air as far as the referendum that's going to be on the ballot for the people to decide.
It's funny. Always read the small details. I don't think people realize it sounds good, right? Like, hey, you're not going to pay property tax at a certain level over a series of years that are prorated. However, what's that mean to the tax base? And then, I mean, that's hundreds of millions of dollars. That's huge.
Yeah, and again, it'll be on the ballot for the people to decide on. I'm sure there will be a campaign on all sides.
I agree.
About the good and the bad of this. Our job, if you take a step back, the easy part of our job is one way or another, we have to have a balanced budget. And so it is just what will we prioritize within the budget, whether or not it passes. And so again, I'm proud of the work that we've done since my term has been on city council. I feel like we've been responsible for the city's finances and just want to continue to move in the direction of continuing to be responsible for all the taxpayer dollars, even if they give us less in the future.
Yeah, I just recently returned from San Diego where my in-laws live. So I like my roads without potholes. I like my police to respond and my fire and such. So I would tell folks, read the bill, actually know what you're voting for, and the finer details do matter in many cases. So when does your term end?
So we can do 2 terms on city council. So I'm currently a filed candidate for my second term, currently unopposed, hoping it stays that way. But elections will be next March. And we're what's called a unitary election style. So there is no party-related primary. It's just whoever has 50 or more percent the first election wins. If no one gets 50%, it goes to the May election. So usually the mayor is always decided in May, because I think right now there's 8 or 10 people filed in addition to our incumbent mayor. So that one is usually not decided the first time around. And city council, if there's 3 or more, it may be the same type deal that a number of them go and are not decided until May.
Will you run for the same district, or will you run at large?
Nope, I'll be filing, and most people do that. They run for the same district. It's your second term as that position. So I'll be running for re-election as District 3 council member. Fastest 3 years of my life, I'm pretty sure.
No doubt. Well, number one, thank you for your service to the nation. Thanks for coming in here and telling your story and what you're doing in the financial space, and how you're going to carry that over into city council. Then, is it 19 members on the city council?
19 members with 19 views.
And how many are veterans?
7.
7,
So we
wow.
think it's the most veteran-heavy council we've had. 4 Navy, 3 Army, so
Yeah.
maybe majority for a Navy
Yeah,
town.
as they should a Navy town.
Yep. So I'm actually surprised it's that close. And we have a number of veterans running as first-time candidates as well,
No
too.
kidding.
So it's really been good to see the veteran population really showing up and wanting to be involved in local
I appreciate
politics.
it. Thanks for everything, and I
Absolutely.
look forward to staying in contact.
Yeah,
To
absolutely. I'm
continue
sure
to
we'll
tell
talk
this.
soon about
I'm sure we
something,
will.
so.
So thanks again. Appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much, Chris.
Hey, folks, connect with Will and myself on LinkedIn, all other forms of social media. See all the great things he's doing for our city council, or with our city council, and then also what is FocusCFO and how they can help you, be successful. Obviously you got a small business, you want to be successful. You probably need a fractional CFO, or at least a capacity to do that. So check out FocusCFO and DM Will if you got any questions. See you in our next segment. Live with gratitude.